Hello, children. How are you today? I hope you're fine. Good. This is Sacred Heart Nursery and Primary School, Papa Lagos. And I want to formally welcome you to music class today. And this lesson is for Basic 6. What is our topic today? Stem positioning. Stem positioning. You can also call it tail. How do we position the stem of a musical note? Now, before we go into that deeply, let us check our objectives for today. All right, here we go. At the end of the lesson, pupils should be able to mention the factors that determine the position of stem, tail in bracket, of musical notes on the staff. That is, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to know when do we make the does the stem of a musical note go upward and when does it go downward? When can it go either way? There's some factors that determines that. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to know that. And at the end of the lesson, you should be able to attach stem to any note on the staff correctly. So sit down quietly, get your right materials, and let us go into the lesson proper. Okay, stem positioning. The position of the stem of a musical note depends on its location on the musical staff. That is, whether the stem of a note will go up or down, the position of that note on the musical staff determines what will happen to it. And this can be done in 3 different ways. Now, those 3 ways are: 1. Upward to the right. Okay, sorry. The first one is upward to the right. All musical notes below the middle line of the staff, that is below the mid line 3 of the musical staff, always have their stem upwards to the right. All musical notes below the middle line, line 3 of the staff, must have their stem upwards through the right side. Look at this diagram. Look at this diagram. You'll discover that line 3 is the middle line of the musical staff. And you discover that all the notes that are below line 3 from line 1, space 1, line 2, space 2, their stem are pointing, upward to the right side. Look at the first one. The stem is upward through the right side of the note. The second note as well, upward through the right side of the note. The third one the same, and the last one too. The stem is pointing upward through the right side of the note itself. That is the rule number 1. Upward to the right. Let's check the second rule. Downward to the left. Now let's look at this. Downward to the left. What does that mean? Let's look at it. All musical notes above the middle line, that is above line 3 of the musical staff, should have their stem downward through the left side of the note. Any note that is above the middle line, above line 3, the stem must go up, must come downward through the left side of the note. Let us look at this diagram. The next slide. Can you see this? You will see that all the notes you are seeing on the staff in the slide, on the diagram, in the diagram you are seeing on the slide here, all the notes are above line 3. You can see space 3, line 4, space 4, line 5. And all the stem of each of the notes, you see the stem of each of the notes are pointing downward and downward through the left side of the musical notes. That is it. Now let's check the next factor, or the third rule. Neutral position. Now before the diagram, let us check what does the neutral position says. Look at it. All musical notes on the middle line, that is on line 3 of the musical staff, can either have the stem upward to the right or downward to the left. That is to say, if any musical note is on the third line of the musical staff, the stem can either go upward through the right side or go downwards through the left side. Now, let's look at this diagram. Hello, children. Look at the diagram you are seeing on the slide. You discover that the two notes that we are illustrating are on the third line of the staff, line 3. The first one has its stem upward through the right side of the note, and the second note has its stem downward through the left side of the note. That is it. So that is to say, there are 3 factors that determine the position of the stem of any note. 1, if the note is below the third line of the staff, the stem goes upward through the right side. 2, if the notes are above the third line of the staff, the stem goes downward through the left side of the note. And 3, if the note is on the third line of the staff, the stem can either go upward through the right side of the note or downward through the left side of the note. Please study this very well. Take a good look at each of the 3 rules, each of the 3 setups there. You will understand it. Now, the next slide. Let me go to the next slide. Now, check the next slide. I just want you to study this musical piece very well. You see that the stem of each of the notes go up or down. The stem of each of the notes goes up or down. Check from one staff to another staff, from one bar to the next bar. You discover that the 3 rules I just stepped up. The 3 conditions I just mentioned, above the third line, below the third line, on the third line, are applicable to the musical piece you are seeing here now. Now look at this. Let me zoom this. Can you see? You see closely now. You can see the first staff, the notes are below the middle line, the third line. You can see all the stems are upward. And look at the second bar. The first note in the second bar, which is a minim, you discover the stem goes downward through the left side of the note. You can see that because the note is above the third line of the staff. It's actually in the what? Yes, the note is actually in the third space, which is above the third line. On and on and on like that. If you study, you see what I'm saying clearly. Even if you go to the second page of the musical piece, just study that. Use that one to analyze or to study more on the 3 conditions that I just mentioned that determine the position of the stem of a musical note. Okay, now the next slide is your assignment. Look at the assignment from your textbook. Turn to page 10. Then on page 10, you will see an exercise that's number 1. Do that. Then after that, you go to page 11. You'll see about 3 exercises, 3 activities there, number 2. That means on page 11, you have about 3 activities there. The first one numbered 2, the next one numbered 3, and the last one there numbered 4. Do those ones that are numbered. That is on page 10, you see one that is numbered 1. Do that one. Then on page 11, you see about 3 of the entire exercises you have there. You see those ones that are numbered 2, 3, and 4. Do them. And once you're through, snap the work, send to me on WhatsApp for marking. Please don't send your notes. Just copy your note, relax, leave the rest for us when we resume. But do the assignment and send to me on WhatsApp so that I can mark. So, thank you very much. Keep safe. Wash your hands regularly. Use your hand sanitizer. If you have any reason to go out to get anything, wear your nose mask and do your assignment. Till I come your way next time. Bye-bye.